What's up, my channel? I've been pretty consistent. I'm always consistent, but I wanted to make this video to make it comfortable on how to manifest one-on-one with Morgan B. And let me tell y'all about Isers, about me. I literally have dedicated my whole life to this stuff because, you know, if you go back to my channel or in my other videos, you know that all the odds are against me. So I have no choice but to improve my life and to create a new life. You know, instead of being a victim, even though I am one, but not to operate out of the victim mentality, because it makes your life even more worse. You know? So I don't want to curse myself. So I'm going to be showing or telling, I could show also, my audience on how to manifest. First thing, I need a journal. You know, look at my journal. I tried to decorate it, didn't get it. But I started journaling when I was earlier than that. Started journaling when I was in 9th grade. I always had a notebook with me, just writing. Usually it was for my thoughts, but you really need a journal, like pen, a notebook. It doesn't have to be fancy. It could really just be a regular textbook journal or whatever. You know, if you want your privacy, get a journal and put it somewhere. Me personally, I don't really care. So, but you are going to get to that point of not even caring. But, you know, when you first starting off this stuff, you're going to be very hesitant about people being in your stuff and whatever. But as as your manifestations start working, you might not even really care anymore. Who knows? It depends, right? But first thing, when it comes to manifesting, you have to be very specific about what you want. And when you are asking for these things, you have to think about everything. I know sometimes, for an example, like, let's do an example. You manifest a car. You say the specific car that you want, the color, how everything is going to be. And then you start imagining that you have this car. But you have to be prepared for what comes with that car. Are you able to handle the bills that come with the car, the maintenance that comes with the car? Are you mature enough to manage a car? You know what I'm saying? Or when you get this car, are you going to use it to hurt people? Are you going to use it or to get you to point A to point B? You know, are you ready for the stress that cars, you know what I'm saying, of being an owner of a car? Are you ready for the good and the bad? You have to think about these things, not just acts, you know, because you can't get whatever you want, but you have to still think. Next thing I would say, when manifesting, you really have to make room for the things that you want. And you have to be faithful. Like, you have to trust the process. Literally, get obsessed with the process. Every day you wake up, you're excited, brush your teeth, like clean yourself, shower, do the basic things that you are in control of, so you are prepared for this. So you're prepared for your manifestation. And the last step, not really the last step, next step is just be faithful. Like, literally trust the process to be like, this is already mine. And for it to work more faster, not faster, but more straight to the point, and there's no extraness, you have to be boring. You know, you have to try to be the most boringest person ever. Try to have a routine. Try to always be in a repetitive state. of doing the same shit, of being just boring, or discipline. That's a better word. You know, if you smoke, try to cut off on the smoking. If you have a lot of distractions in your way, cut that shit out and really focus on what you want. And it's better, you know, usually I'm not, me personally, I'm not a fan of it, but it's better to move in silence. I'm not a fan of moving in silence. That's just a me thing though. But it is better to move in silence when telling, you know, people what you are manifesting. Unless you're able to ignore them and block it out, but it's still better to move in silence. Don't tell anybody anything. Get it? Hope we understand. Yeah, just always have faith. Always stay in your journal. Any doubt that you have, put it in this journal. Allow yourself to be human and don't stress yourself out. Take it little by little by little. And then once you get the car, it's not even about the car. It's just like you're going to be a new person that's able to maintain this car. The car is just an example. I'm talking about your manifestations in general. But always keep the habits on check. Keep your habits, you know? Keep them habits on check. For real, for real. And last one I'll give is try to fast. That'll be it. It doesn't always have to be all the time, but always throw it in there every once in a while. Like give yourself a 3-day fast, or if you can't do 3, try 1 and then grow from there. Pray. Always pray. Even if you're not religious, still pray. You know what I'm saying? Or like have a time with yourself to just talk and reflect about your day. Or if you don't pray, if you don't want to pray, praying's not your thing, just keep journaling. But always make time for yourself to just reflect and think. Because if you're around too much noise, it can get distracting very easily. You're number one always. Obviously, if you don't believe in God, number one always. Yeah, focus on you, because without you, how are you gonna be able to get this car, you know? So always try to do what's right. Listen to that consciousness. Think before you do things. Think about all the scenarios. It doesn't matter if you're hanging out with people that are not aligned to whatever you want. It's gonna take a little longer. You gotta take those people out your way. It's basically like if I'm looking at some diamonds over there and my friends that I'm hanging out with, they're thieves. Nothing wrong with thieves, you know, I'm not a judgmental person, but like they have bad habits. They like to steal. They like to do all these things, but you want those diamonds, like you want to own that. You need to get them people out your way because they're blocking you. And then you tell them like, yo, I want this. They will like throw their projections on you. Man, you go steal that. That's nothing. We can go do this and that. And listen to that intuition. If your body is like making it weird, you feel uncomfortable, get away from them, bro. It's better to be alone at this point in time. Either you and yourself or people that are online, you gotta cut them off. Or if you get to, you know, if you're able to balance it out, then yeah. But if you really want that paper cut, like you want this, that, and that, you gotta focus on it. You gotta be obsessed with it. You're like, this is what I want. This is what I want. Sometimes you gotta have an image of what you want. It doesn't even have to be a car. So that's how you manifest. I will show like examples of what you can do. Me, I like to draw pictures always, so your mind can envision what you want. I always draw pictures Yeah, money signs. Me, my journal is basically very childlike because I like to give myself that safe space to be a child because I didn't have that. So mine is very drawings, easy. When I'm writing, I draw, and I literally stay still. And I like to be by myself. I enjoy my alone time, and I like silence once in a while. So being alone is not my thing. Like, it's not a hard thing. Sometimes it can be hard, definitely. But yeah, always make time for yourself to just sit and be like, this is what I want. And don't put anybody above it. Absolutely not. Focus on them goals. If you really want it, I can't really say anything. But yeah, everything's been good with these letters. Like, even sometimes, like, when I, like, feel some... And you have to forgive people. Oh my gosh. If you have bitterness in your heart, anger towards somebody, get that shit together. Literally. This letter just reminded me. I had a lot of anger towards some of my family members, so I would just write in my notebook and be like, all right, I keep it over there. I take the thought out of my mind and I see it and I'm like, they're human too. Okay? It's not excusing their behavior, obviously, but this person hurted you because this and this happened, whatever. And you now need to evaluate yourself, like, why did I allow this person to make me this angry? You know what I'm saying? Because all that angerness is just slowing you down. That's all it is, bro. You're trapping yourself. And I remember my older brother even told me, he was like, you're in your own way. You're trying to move forward, but you're so stuck on this that doesn't even mean shit. So you just move along. And that's what I did. And sometimes you have to give yourself that space. If you are around the person that hurt you once upon a time and you don't want to feel that hatred energy in you, just separate yourself from them. Be like, I'll talk to you later. Like, not right now though, Try to always keep it short. Don't be too much of yourself because then you think about it, So, yeah, write it down, let it go, like, release it. It takes a while. You really got to be patient with yourself. But the more you do this, the more that you're going to start loving yourself for sure. Yeah, that's how you manifest. Pretty easy. Not easy. Pretty simple. Definitely not easy. You just have to actually want it, have faith. It doesn't matter if it doesn't matter if you're white, black, yellow, brown. Like, anybody can do this and at their homes. You can have $0, change your life. And remember, like, money, these materialistic things doesn't matter. So you have to really detach yourself from the outcome altogether. Like, yeah, do not be so desperate for the materialistic thing, but just try to focus on changing your character so you can maintain these physical things. Like, say if I want a house, now I have to position myself to be a homeowner. Act like, what would you think a homeowner act? You know what I'm saying? How do they conduct themselves? And you move forward from there. Because really, you can get anything you want and it doesn't mean shit. Somebody can give you all the materialistic things in the world and you as a human being, you don't care. I'm telling you don't. I used to be a kid and I used to want all this stuff. As I got older, I got myself the things that I wanted. They don't fulfill any of that shit. Nope. You have to love yourself, man. Just have to be excited about who is looking back at you and be that person yourself. When I wake up, I'm always like, I am glad of the person that I'm becoming, and I'm happy that I'm able to detach more faster than things that doesn't belong to me. Really. Like, things don't dwell on the past, don't dwell on dead shit. And we're humans. My mind still wanders. At the end, I'm like, I'm here though, right now. Thank you for watching. Hopefully my audience learned something new. And yeah, appreciate you.